Good morning. Good morning, all, and thank you for organizing this event that allows us to share information, experience, and knowledge about one of the, I believe it to be, the most important topics of today. I'm a member of Champions 12.3. I call it Champions 1, 2, 3, because in some way it gives us a sense of speed and the need to move on. I'm also wearing the hat of WWF. As we say, those who have been in that institution, once a panda, always a panda. So much of what I'm going to tell you about is taking place in WWF. I want to start by sharing two personal experiences. One was in Stockholm, in a hotel, about 300 people, for the water meeting. And I love breakfast. I go down to the dining room, a wonderful buffet, very Swedish. Pastries, cheese, salmon, all sorts of fruits and delicious things. And a big label in every table that says, take what you will eat. What you leave in the plate will be charged. That was the most fantastic message I have read in the last 10 years. And it was fantastic because nobody left a grain of bread on the plate. And the message was strong also because it had to do with your pocket. 300 people in the dining room and probably 300 in the next hour, nobody left anything on the plate because they would be charged. The other experience is in a university in Chicago, in the cafeteria, full of students. And the person in front of me, the moment she approached the plate, the dish of meat, she cut the loaf in half, took the other half, and another person behind took the half that was left. Why is that important? It's important because the students had gotten the permission of the university authorities to cut the meat in two because the loaf was too big for one person. It was going against the regulations of the past of the university, and it was going in favor of eat what you can and eat what you need. Those two experiences just strengthened my belief that working on food loss and waste is a human obligation, an individual obligation. Doesn't matter which sector you come from, whether you're business, whether you're government, whether you're civil society, industry, church, or whatever. It is the individual who, the moment that he or she learns about the impact of food loss and waste, becomes a convert. Because it has to do with ethics, it has to do with moral, it has to do with the economic agenda, with the environmental agenda, with the social agenda, and the governance agenda. I love this topic also because the individual can work on issues that touch our lives every day, and that is water, biodiversity, climate change, forests, and land degradation. And probably I can continue with a long line of other issues, areas, and interests that touch on food loss and waste. I have just named the 5 that I believe are the strongest. However, we need to ask ourselves of what are the challenges that we have as citizens at this moment. And I want to mention a couple. donation laws. That is a governance issue, and at this moment, there are several countries' governments that forbid you to donate, that create obstacles for donation, that punish donation. And I think the church has an enormous role in there in bringing the logic of what is really moral and ethical in distributing food. But then there is another challenge that is very similar to the one related to plastics. It is not only what do you do with a product at the end, but how do you do to reduce the production of it? If we continue to produce as much food as we are producing today, knowing that a third of that food goes to waste, knowing that there are 800 million people who go to sleep without food, something is wrong in the beginning of the concept of the change of the action. Because it also has an impact on land degradation, and what we are doing every day is leaving behind us a lot of degraded land. And degradation of land at this moment is one of the big threats to the quality of life of the individuals. Another challenge that we have is convincing the young that that little sticker that says expiration date has no meaning, or has little meaning, or has a different meaning than the one that we have been telling the young people to believe in. And they are convinced that the label is true and that we are wrong. The older generation, you don't know what you're talking about, that sticker is more relevant. So again, an issue of governance, of how do we work together between all the sectors in trying to change that. And my last message is, I don't think we in WWF and many other organizations, we have tapped enough on the enormous potential of the young, of the millennials. The moment they believe in something, they will jump every wall to accomplish their goals. And we haven't done enough to bring them over into this fantastic battle that we have ahead of us, which is the reduction of food loss and waste. Thank you, Mr. President.